Okay, on number 13, we've got 6m cubed divided by 3m all to the 5th. So I'm looking at 6m cubed divided by 3n all to the 5th. Now you got options on how to do these, and what order you do stuff. That 5th power goes to everything, so you can decide if you want to take it to everything first or last. I didn't know what 6 to the 5th is. 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 times 6. So I chose to save the 5th for last. So I went ahead and divided. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And then I still got an m cubed, and I still got an n all to the 5th. Now that's a little bit more manageable. I know I can figure out 2 to the 5th. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8 times 2 is 16 times 2 is 32. So I got 32. What do you do right here on power to a power?
You add.
No.
Subtract.
No.
Multiply.
Multiply. So that'll be m to the 15th. And then on the denominator, n to the 5th. Power to a power, you multiply.
So our test is not going to be multiple choice.
Nope. We haven't had a multiple choice test in here yet.
So if I was to take it, it wouldn't count against me. Like,
Alright, 18. I'm looking at number 18 now. I've got d to the 4th times d to the 7th divided by d to the 6th times w squared, and all of that is cubed. Alright, this time I didn't have a coefficient that I had to worry about cubing, and so I just went ahead and simplified all those d's. On the top, those d's are being multiplied, and what do you do with powers when you multiply? Add, so that turns that on the top to d to the 11th, right? You follow that? 7 and 4 is 11. But then you got a d to the 6th on bottom. What do you do when it's division? Subtract. So we got an 11 over 6. 11 minus 6 makes that d to the 5th all to the 3rd. So now power to a power, you multiply. So it's d to the 15th, w to the 6th.
Is the questions that's going to be on our test coming straight from them?
I'm not sure. Alright, I'm going to 25 next. 25. The directions for that next section say to solve the equation for y. That just means you want to end it up saying y equals something. You want the y all by itself. So in 25, we have 4x minus 2y is equal to negative 12. So to get the y by itself, 25. Start off by subtracting the 4x from both sides. So that would give me negative 2y is equal to negative 4x minus 12. Trying to solve for y. My y is being multiplied by a negative 2. So I'm going to divide everything by a negative 2. So if I divide here by negative 2, divide all that by negative 2, I'd have y equals 2x plus 6.
let's just have a test over this though.
Solving for y?
Yeah.
Can you do 30?
30 is the next one I had circled. I've already got them all picked out.
Alright.
And if we have time, after I do the ones I picked out, and there's something you want, I'll go back and do it. But 30 I do have picked out.
Your pen looks skinnier today.
Yeah, I picked a skinnier one. I think it's easier to write with for some reason. I don't know. Alright, on 30. I got 4x minus 2y, or excuse me, 4xy. That's what made that one a little bit harder. 4xy minus 2y equals 16. Okay, the dilemma on this one, like I was just mumbling to myself, is it's got a y in both pieces on the left. So what you're going to do in that situation when you've got something like that and you're trying to solve for y, I'm going to factor it out. So I'm going to divide both of those by y. If I take a y of that first term, it would leave me with a 4x. If I take a y of that second term, it would leave me with a minus 2. Now I'm trying to solve for y, and it's being multiplied by 4x minus 2. So I'm just going to divide by 4x minus 2. So I'll have y equals 16 divided by 4x minus 2. And that's it.
I would say that's all it is.
Why would you divide by that?
Because mine's trying to solve for y and it's being multiplied by it, so I undid that multiplication.
So would 29 be y equals 12? Y was 5, 3x plus
Uh-huh. Alright, going to 32 next. 32. I thought the word problems on this review were kind of fun. I mean, they were like easy to figure out what you're looking for kind of stuff. Alright, 32. We're buying some Blu-rays that cost $18 each, and we've got $100 to spend. Part A says write an expression that shows how much money you have left after purchasing in movies. Well, I'm started with 100, so whatever I have left, I'm going to be subtracting from that 100. It says the movies are 18 each, so 18 times however many I buy. That's your A answer. It said expression, so I'm not putting equals anything in there. That's just my expression. Part B says evaluate the expression when m's 4. So for part B, I'll do 100 minus 18 times 4, and I got $28. So if I buy 4 movies, I would have $28 left. Part C says evaluate when m equals 5. Oh, whoa, back up. I said on part B, what does that mean, but I didn't write it out for you. It says evaluate when m's 4. Then it says, what does this mean? So I need to write out, I buy 4 movies. I have $28 left over, or I could say what Dalton said, I spent $72 would be a good answer also. $20 left. Okay, part C says m's 5. 100 minus 18 times 5, and I got $10. What does this mean? I did spend $90. So I buy 5 movies. I have $10 left. Or I could say it like Stephen and Dalton said, I spent $90 on movies. Would be a good answer also. Alright, on page 2, first one I circled was number 42. You ready? Alright, 42, I got p to the negative 2 to the 5th. We've already talked about power to a power. You just multiply, so that's how you would start here. That'd be p to the negative 10. But you can't stop there.
Oh.
Can't have a negative exponent. Put it in the opposite spot and make it positive. Yep. Okay, then I got 47 next. No. You multiply instead of doing the power. It's not 5 times 2. Alright. There's a couple of different ways to start 47. I started it by taking care of the negative exponent first. Negative power, just like on the last one, we put in the opposite spot and made it positive. So I can just take that 5w over 6 and flip it and make that a positive exponent. So that's how I started it. Okay, now that 2 has to go to everything. So I got 6 squared, 5 squared, W squared. If I can reduce that, I do, but 36 over 25 doesn't reduce. Alright, I got 52 next. Just trying to get you a sampling of how to work through all these. You've been working on it the last couple of days. So 52. A lot of people forgot what the absolute value bar is. That means you're going to have 2 answers, because absolute value is the distance you are on a number line from 0, so you could be to the left or to the right. So first thing you do to get your first equation is you just drop the bars and write everything like it is.
And then you write it.
You get your second equation by dropping the bars and making everything on the other side of the equal sign the opposite sign. So it'll be a negative 38. So those are the 2 equations that I have to solve that'll get me my 2 answers. Okay, we'll subtract 13. So we got 5x equals 25. So there's one of my answers. Over here on the second one, I'll subtract 13. Let's make 5x is negative 51. And that doesn't go in evenly, so I just left it as negative 51 fifths. So I had 2 answers on that one.
What the heck did you do?
Really, you just take the bars now?
Yeah.
And when you ask for
After 15% on the freaking interest tax class. There's no way I'm just.
Alright, then the other kind in there, 57. Went down to 57. We ready? Good, Landon? Alright, 57. Drop the bars and write everything like it is.
On both
So
sides.
4x minus 24 equals 2x, yep. Then my second one, drop the bars, make everything on the right side the opposite. So 4x minus 24 equals negative 2x. So you did it the same, even though they had the other set of bars over there. Alright, so I chose to subtract 4x when I started solving this. So subtract 4x, subtract 4x, I had negative 24 equals negative 2x, divide by negative 2, and I get a 12. Same thing over here, subtract 4x, so negative 24 is negative 6x, divide by negative 6, and I got x is 4. Nope, you know, just forgot about writing 2 equations on those. 61 through 68 is one of the easiest sections, but hardly nobody remembered. Yeah, there. Once I tell you, you're but hardly nobody remembered. 66 and 68 are the 2 I chose, so I'm gonna look at 66 first. 66 has got 5 negative 3.
5 negative 7.
5 negative 7. It's negative 9, 3. And negative 6, negative 7. Okay, the question says determine whether the relation is a function. So it's a yes or no question. Yes, it's a function, or no, it's not a function. To test if it's a function, All I'm concerned with are the x values. If any number in the x spot repeats, it is not a function. So the first, very good, Landon, the first two I see there, I got a 5 and 5. So I use the same number, two different x's, so that one is no, it's not a function. Okay?
What if it's a -1 and a positive?
That's not the same thing.
Yeah, but
Okay, so 68, I've got 7, -8, -5, 6, 5, 8, and 6, -8. So I'm checking my x's out. Okay, none of those are the same. Like Trevor just pointed out, 5 and -5 are not the same, so I didn't reuse any number in the x spot. So 68, yes, that is a function.
Those are easy.
Yep.
Do the whole test over that.
be quiet, Trevor.
All right, 70s, the word problem I picked on this page, 70. All right, so we decided to purchase a membership to a local art supply store in order to purchase acrylic paint at a discount. Monthly membership is $5.85 and each tube of paint is $28.84. Part A, write an expression for the total amount you spend in M months and T tubes of paint. $5.85 a month, so you're going to have 5.85 M. We got to pay that, plus we got to pay however many tubes of paint we buy, and they're $28.84, so $28.84 T. So there's your part A part. Part B, evaluate for 5 months and 3 tubes of paint.
That's
So
easy.
585 times 3, or 5, excuse me, 5, doofus. We need 5 months. 5 months plus 28.84 times 3 tubes of paint. Now this is money you're figuring out, so route it to the nearest hundredth when you get an answer. I got, that's what I got, $115.77. Dalton is correct. Page 3, we've been translating stuff on every test we've had. Picked 75 for the first one.
Did you pick 76?
No.
What?
That's one of the ones you can ask for.
Yeah, we'll have time for you if you need to go back to one. 75 starts off with f of x is equal to 3x plus 4. It says to translate that 1 unit to the left. Now, I picked this one on purpose because 1 unit to the left, remember left and right goes opposite way. So opposite of left would be to add 1. A lot of people are going to put 3x plus 5 on this and be wrong.
Oh, come on.
1 unit to the left, left and right has to go in, has to go in with the x. So we're going to write on this, tell me to use a new letter, G. Yeah, so we're going to write on this, G of x is equal to 3, and then in with the x, I do that plus 1.
I just did 3x.
What?
And then still got a plus 4 on the end.
That's stupid.
Now you could, if you wanted to, simplify that and distribute the 3, but I would not, because that shows it pretty clear. In with the x, you're scooting it left.
Yep, you're gonna fill that.
So all the other ones are the different two since I did that one wrong.
Not necessarily.
77's the other one we're going to look at.
Got that one wrong. I believe so.
77 starts off with f of x is negative 1/4 x minus 1. Translation, 3 units left, so that's got to start off the same way as the other one. G of x equals negative 1/4 times x plus 3 for 3 units left, followed by translation of 4 units up. So what's stuck on the end, we add 4 to, and then you can go ahead and simplify that.
Will it get wrong if we don't simplify it?
If you just leave it like this,
Yeah.
I probably won't mark that wrong.
Oh, yeah, you can take this and count.
No.
Alpha Zoom.
Alright, 78 through 86. I've got one of those I'm going to do because you're only going to have one of those on test tomorrow. So I'm going to work through number 79 with you. We did them
So
in.
we only have one of these?
Uh-huh. Because they took us a long time when we did them. But we can, no, let me just write. X plus Y plus Z equals 3.
We do 1 and 3. First and first and last.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, whatever.
No, you can't.
We're doing 79, right?
Mm-hmm.
You actually see. I know, that's all I'm
Alpha Zoom.
Is that an 11 or a negative 11? I've written on top of mine.
Negative 11.
Negative 11.
Thank you. All right. So I'm looking at my Y's, and my Y's all have a 1, so they're going to be the easiest thing to get rid of. You can get. I did it a little bit different. I'm going to do what Steven said. He's going to put the first and last one together. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and add the first and last one. So I've got X plus Y plus Z is equal to 3. And I got negative 2x minus y plus z is equal to negative 11. I know I'm adding here because my y's are different signs. X and negative 2x is negative x. Y negative y is nothing. He gone. Z and z is 2z. And 3 and negative 11 is negative 8. So that's new equation number 1. Don't lose it. Now we have to get another new equation that also got rid of the y's. So,
That's supposed to be equals 11.
yeah, negative 11. So now I'm going to put the second and third one together. So I got 2x plus y plus 2z is equal to 2. Negative 2x minus y plus z is equal to negative 11. I'm adding here because my y's are different signs. My x's are also going to go away here, which is good news. 2x plus negative 2x is nothing. He gone. Y negative y is nothing. He gone. 2z and z is 3z. 2 and negative 11 is negative 9. Divide everything by 3. And I already know my z. Now I can take that z, whenever it shows up, and go plug it back into that new equation over there on the right side of the board and get my x. Thinking maybe we lost connection and it didn't tell me. So I got negative x plus 2 times negative 3 is equal to negative 8. So it's negative x minus 6 is equal to negative 8. Add my 6. Negative x is negative 2. Divide by negative 1. X is 2. So I've got an x. I've got a z. I'm missing a y. 2. So I'm going to plug those back in to one of the original ones. So that top one there, if I had 2 plus y plus negative 3 is equal to 3.
This is confusing.
So 2 and negative 3 is negative 1. So we have y minus 1 is equal to 3. Add your 1, y would be 4. So I got x, y, z. 2, 4, negative 3 is down there at the very bottom.
You sure may I type in the calculator?
Not right now. All right, 91 is where I'm going next.
Here's Briar beating down. What is volume one?
4. 4, my bad.
Yeah, 3 by 3.
All right, on 91, you have to pay sales tax when you purchase a new vehicle. The cost of your new car is $32,560, and the cost after tax, $34,513.60. What percent sales tax did you pay? So $32,560 was the cost of the car, plus the tax had to equal your total cost, $34,513.60. So you subtract your $32,560 from both sides. Gets you X is equal to $19,533.60. So that's how much you paid in sales tax. That's not the percentage that sales tax was. To get the percentage the sales tax was, take how much you paid, divide it by the cost of the car, and I got about 0.06. So the sales tax was 6%. Last page. On 99, I had x squared minus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. Directions say to solve the equation. You could do quadratic formula, you could do factoring, whatever. This one is easy to factor. A times C, the factors of -3 that add to -2 are -3 and 1. So I'd have x minus 3 times x plus 1 is equal to 0. Set both of those equal to 0 and solve. Gets you a 3 and a -1. Fix to be on 106 next. Uh-huh.
What problem is that?
99.
99?
Yep. Alright, 106, I'm going to use factoring also, but my A's not 1, so we got to remind you how to factor by grouping. I've got 5x squared plus 8x plus 3 equals 0. A lot of people yesterday did this one using the quadratic formula, and that's possible. You could use the quadratic formula. I don't mind that. A times C is 15. Factors of 15 that add to 8 are 5 and 3. So I'm going to substitute those in and do factoring by grouping. So I would have 5x squared plus 5x plus 3x plus 3. Now we did grouping. Nothing new. Take a 5x out of the first group. That leaves me with x plus 1. Take a 3 out of the second group. That leaves me with x plus 1. What I had twice, what I took out, set both of those equal to 0 and solve. X plus 1 equals 0 gets me a -1. That one was easier. This one, 5x plus 3 equals 0, means 5x is -3. So x is -3/5. So you get those two answers. Oh, you can't see that bottom one. -3/5.
Monday, right?
Yes. Alright, 111. This section, 111 or 107 through 116 is pretty easy. On 111, I've got -8 plus 6i plus 4 minus 3i. Standard form on a complex number means the one without an I, the real one goes first and the I goes last. So when it says write in standard form, make sure you do that. Like terms, -8 plus 4 is -4. 6I plus -3I is 3I. So that would be your answer on 111. 116 next. Looking at 116. 116, I've got -2 plus 5I minus, change to subtraction here, 13 plus 7I. So -2 minus 13 is -15. 5I minus 7I is -2I.
That's all you did.
Mm-hmm. On the next section, we were multiplying them, so I'm going to do 118 first. There were some things people forgot about I squared when they were working on these yesterday. On 118, I have -4I times 4 minus 2I. -4I times 4 is -16I. Here, a negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times 2 is 8. And I times I is I squared. I squared is always the same as -1. So this means I have -16I plus 8 times -1. 8 times -1 is -8, so I got -16I minus 8. The directions say write in standard form. Standard form, the one without the I comes first, so I have to flip-flop it. -8 minus 16I. $126 will be next.
How many questions are going to be on your test?
40. Alright, on 126, we've got 3 minus 4I squared. Okay, when we have a binomial squared, that means we have to write it twice. So we're going to write 3 minus 4I times 3 minus 4I. Now I'm foiling on my first. 3 times 3 is 9. On my outer, that's a minus 12I. On my inner, that's a minus 12I. On my last, that's a positive 16I squared. -12I, like terms, is -24I. I squared is the same as -1, so it's 16 times -1. 16 times -1 is the same as -16, so you've got like terms, 9 minus 16 gets you a -7. And that's it. $128's next. 128, last one. You travel in a car at an average rate of 55 miles an hour on the highway and 35 miles an hour in the city. Anytime you're talking about cars and rates and stuff, you're going to be using distance equals rate times time. Part A, how long does it take you to travel 16.5 highway miles and 7 city miles? So how long does it take you? So you're trying to find time on this. So my distance is 16.5 on the highway. So 16.5. And on the highway it told me I travel 55 miles an hour. So divide that by 55. And for part A, just on the highway, I got 0.3. Now you're not done because you also drove on the city roads some. 7 miles on the city road. So 7, and you drive 35 miles an hour there, equals 35 times t divided by 35. And that got me 0.5. So my total on this trip, 0.3 hours plus 0.5 hours is, oh, hold on, that got me 0.2. I was looking at my final answer. 7 divided by 35 is 0.2. So 0.3 plus 0.2 gets you your total for part A, 0.5. So it took you half an hour to go 16.5 highway miles and 7 city miles. Part B, I'm going to do it on a new piece of paper, still using the same formula. Part B, we went 44 highway miles. I need to go back. It's okay. Alright, part B, we went 44 highway miles. So 44 equals 55 times your t. Divide that by 55. And I got 0.8. And then we went 28 city miles. 28 city is 35 miles an hour. Divide by 35. And I got another 0.8 on that one. So my total time on this trip, 0.8 plus 0.8, I took 1.6 hours for part B. That'll be it.
Are you rushing?
Nope.
Not right now. Alright. Anything of the ones that you didn't get that you want to go over now?
Could you go back to 91 again?
Hey, that's the first
91,
thing.
yes. I already have it. He just needs to finish it. Let's see. There it is.
The ones you got over, is that the ones where you're like going down the test?
I don't know. Alright, any of them we didn't go over you
73.
want? 73. Get back to a new piece of paper again.
No, I just want to see if I'm right.
I have it, you can't, until we can find out how many tests, or how many points the test is out of.
Oh,
I mean,
I was
100
supposed to say
is
that.
still
Three straight.
They probably rate it on.
You should go.
Alright, 73, we got f of x is equal to the absolute value of 2x minus 1 plus 3. And we want to take that 4 units to the left. Left and right goes in with the x. So this one's already got the x in those bars already. So in with the x, and we're taking it 4 units left. So we're going to add 4. And then that makes negative 1 plus 4 is a 3.
This one.
Good job. So that'd be it for 73. Put your equals g of x out there. So everybody ought to be able to fix 73 up.
76.
Dalton wants 76. 76. I've got f of x is negative 2x plus 5. Reflection in the x-axis. Reflections were tricky because they had negatives, and you had to remember if the negative went in front of the whole thing or just with the x. X-axis, it goes just with the x. So this would look like, when we start this off, g of x equals negative. That's the negative that's already out there. And then I got make my x negative. Now that looks all screwy, so let's clean that up and hold up on that. 2 times negative x there makes that a negative 2x, right? Then you still have that negative out in front. So that's going to make that be 2x, and then still have your plus 5 there on the end. So all it did was turned that one to a
Take the negative
positive.
away, that's all.
That's it. else?
One on,
No, Trevor, you're wrong.
we'll just shoot one out there. I'll just look at the back page.
Why are you-
How'd you do that?
Huh?
That one's
How do
easy,
you do that?
Trevor. If you don't know how to do that, you're failing the test for sure.
Alright, like terms, 10 plus negative 8 is 2. Negative 11i plus 6i is negative 5i.
He's out. He's out cold. Yep.
Boy.
Where does everybody sit in next period class?
This is by
Kind of the same as y'all's, but we do have some that sit there at that front table.
Wait, isn't
Put that
Elijah
chair.
in the third period?
Yeah, he sits over where Connor
Who
is.
sits by Albert?
That's what you're going.
Carrie Lynn hadn't been here yesterday or today.
Wait, I think that, yeah, she's here today. I saw her this morning.
Well, she got counted absent in here?
She's already been in your class?
No.
That's the girl that sits in this class group.
I'm in next period.
Oh.
This is the next period.
Garrett Gregory.
Oh, whoa. Whoa. He's gonna fall.
Jump in a broke chair.
Yeah,
over
don't
No.
tell me, please, Coach Ross. Please.
there. He probably isn't here today because he's
Let's
exempt
put it
and
over
hadn't
there
missed
where
any
Connor
days.
is. That'd be
I
cool.
said it.
Elijah's too
And
light
is
to
that
break
what
it
it
though.
was?
I mean,
No,
it don't
it's
take
gonna
much.
go down.
It's gonna
Try to
go.
sit in it.
Yeah, you go
Oh,
sit in it.
it's gonna go. We almost
If
got.
you put all your weight on it, oh, it's
Connor
fine.
just